soul, oh, your strength is true. Nobody knows to shine the way you do. And I need you to give a little love, give a little love, that's all we need. Give a little love, 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 sing them all. Nobody knows to move the way you do. Round and around, you're no one else but you, darling. Nobody knows to groove the way you do. And I need you to give a little love, give a little love, that's all we need. Give a little love, 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 sing them all. Sing them all. Give a little love, 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 sing them all. Sing them all.
Welcome. We are back. It's been almost like 2 weeks, like 1.5 weeks. It's been a while. It's been crazy for me. I just spent yesterday and today writing 2 different papers, which I just finished. So yeah, I'm back kind of. I'm going to try and be live the next few days. We're going to have to see, but towards the end of the week, I'm moving out of where I am right now. So it's going to be, there's probably going to be a couple days where I'm not going to be able to stream. So next couple of days, hopefully. This week, like don't look at this week as like officially I'm back. I mean, I'm just trying to, I don't really have much to do right now. And like obviously I want to stream. So I can stream for right now, but I'm not like fully back yet. And I've got a bunch of things planned actually in general for the next couple of weeks. But this is just like a mini return, like the actual like full return where I start like actually like grinding again. And, you know, putting in the hours will be probably the week after this week. This is just kind of like a testing the waters, trying to get slowly back into the swing of things type of week. At least for the stream, if you're in Discord, I've been extremely active, maybe even a little bit too active in the Discord. But make sure you join that. The link's in the description. It's free to join. But yeah, I'm going to be starting up longer streams in the next couple of weeks here. I know we've been doing like 45 minutes. I want to go back to an hour and a half. We're going to be doing a lot more ticker requests because I know I've not done a good job of that in the last couple of months. And Instagram, TikTok, all that's going to be coming back. We're going to be doing timestamps again because I know a lot of you are not able to watch the stream lives. And we're going to be going back to the 9 o'clock p.m. every single night schedule, so it's not like random. So a lot of different things will be coming together, not for this week, but like in the next couple of weeks. This week is just kind of like the same thing that I've been doing for the past couple of months, just kind of random and just trying to get like the major points across. But it's going to be a fun summer. And yeah, I am done with classes now, so I can kind of go back to fully focusing on streaming and providing as much as I can to all of you. So it's going to be cool. We're going to be talking about the 2022 market crash that we're currently in. Crash is a word that is debatable, but it's definitely very ugly out there. So we're going to be talking about all of that tonight. I'm going to be talking about the overall stock market, Bitcoin and Ethereum, creating some lower time frame wedges, but a little bit bearish on higher time frames. We're going to be getting to that. Swings have not done well lately. We're going to be covering some of the ongoing swings. We're going to be talking about option trades maybe. Well, we're not going to be recapping any from last week because that's like well in the past now, but I have like one trade I might actually take this week, which I'm going to be telling all of you about in a little bit. Just keeping an eye on it. So there's a lot going on. We're going to get to all of it. What's up, D in the chat? KTF, Zeke for Bleak, the guy, Plebere, Jack, Josh, AK, and Medi saying YouTube is not giving notifications. That sucks. I don't know, it might have just been you because I did get it on like my other YouTube account on my phone, so I don't know. But yeah, how's everybody's weekend? Pretty stressful for me writing 2 papers, like literally in the past like 24 hours. But it's all good because now I'm done. And if anybody watched the Amanda Serrano fight last night, absolutely insane, and she got robbed. I mean, I don't want to get into it because I'm gonna be ranting forever, but Amanda Serrano got robbed. Katie Taylor, great boxer, did a great job, but she did not win that fight. I don't know what the judges were thinking. It is what it is. Yeah, anybody watch Ozark? I know that's back on, or the new season, the final season is back on Netflix. A lot going on. All right, so maybe it's getting warmer too. Hopefully you are all enjoying the weather and trying to relax outside of the market because it is a very stressful time in the market. April was actually my best month of the year, but it was still a very hard month, like just in general. Like it took a lot. Like I really had to like use like all of my skills to try and to do well in April. But it definitely, like, if April was like your worst month in a long time, that also can make sense. It was a brutal month. And like I really was not overnighting at all. I was just day trading and just going for lower time frame setups. So I'll talk about some of that tonight. But it's in general, it's been crazy lately. So yep, Ozark, it's nice. I'm glad to hear that. I am. All right, so let's get into it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's talk about the charts because I haven't been able to update my thoughts on a lot of these charts, and at least on stream in like a week and a half. So we're gonna be starting off with crypto. Bitcoin has continued to sell off. Currently, it's in this larger, I wouldn't even call it a bear flag formation. It's just kind of like an upsloping channel. It kind of is a bear flag. It's too large for a bear flag in my opinion. But it is towards the demand line. The one thing that Bitcoin does have currently is some potential hidden bullish divergence. So keeping an eye on that. And then on the 4 hour, it's a little bit more interesting for Bitcoin with this falling wedge pattern and some triple classic bullish divergence, bouncing up right now about 1.5% on this 4 hour candle that closes in 53 minutes. And so will the daily candle. So that's really it for Bitcoin. I mean, in general, if it breaks down from this, whatever you want to call the structure, I think like 28, 29K will be next. Because if you break down here, I don't think you're going to be holding those lows. I think you'd probably maybe show a little bit of bounce over here at these lows, make a lower high, and eventually get down to test this level. I mean, if you just go over to the weekly chart in Bitcoin, it kind of looks like that level is coming. Unless somehow this hidden bullish divergence on the daily plays out and you bounce off this demand line. This is kind of like your last area of hope. Otherwise, I could see like a $10,000 drop per bit on Bitcoin. Potentially, it's just not a great looking chart on the weekly. You got 2 very clear highs over here. It's kind of like this head and shoulders bear flag looking combination. It's just meh until you get down to at least test these areas where you did bounce. So you have bounced off every single time since like the end of 2020, but we will see. Hopefully it can all start with this 4 hour wedge and maybe we never get down to those areas in the short term, but we'll see. Then apart from that, Ethereum, very similar, same thing with that upsloping channel idea, the hidden bullish divergence. It actually could get a tweezer bottom on the daily if it just holds its current gains, which is like that large red bodied candle followed by a large green bodied candle that pretty much is like matching it. And then on the 4 hour, that same exact wedge idea, same thing, kind of like a 4 hour bullish engulfing candle that could confirm in 51 minutes. We'll see. And then you also got a 4 hour MACD crossover for Ethereum. You do have actually some classic bullish divergence. So you have some classic bullish divergence on the 4 hour for Bitcoin and ETH. We'll see if they play out or not. Who knows? So moving on from crypto, let's talk about some other markets before we talk about the stock market. There we go. So I actually, I had this triangle drawn like this originally, and I've redrawn it. So crude oil futures might be breaking out. I mean, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches. That's a real pattern right there. It's been in this kind of, I don't know if I'd call it pennant. I'm just going to call this a symmetrical triangle. I think it's too large for pennant. You know, it's been in this for about 2 months and it's testing a breakout in my opinion. I think over 108 would be a breakout for crude oil. I mean, you could see it was the highs over here, and over here as well. So look for that level. Moving on from that, let's go to the Hang Seng Index, which it spiked up 4% on Friday, which is crazy. Actually, even like, remember with this, I feel like when I was like right before I took this break, you had like that hidden bearish divergence and it was like breaking down from this wedge. It did end up selling off over the course of like last week until the end of last week. And then you started bouncing kind of after filling this gap that we were talking about. And then a very big day on, I believe this was Friday, 29th. Let's see when that was. Saying that was, no, wait, that's May. Yeah, that was Friday, okay. So big spike there, kind of even is kind of doing the opposite now, breaking out of like, we can delete this bearish pattern and draw like this down sloping channel that it's now breaking out of, or already did break out of. So now the next resistance would be up over here where this blue zone is. So that's the Hang Seng Index. Moving on to like metals, gold, you know, broke down over here and it came down to this 1872 level, which was a high from right over here, and over here it's bounced off of it. You got a bullish hammer. I think this was on Friday. You can get some classic, or you currently do have classic bullish divergence developing. So for gold, I'd say 1872 support, 1921 resistance. Silver, whoa, this is not. So gold has actually been able to bounce for the past couple of days. Silver, on the other hand, is just going straight down. Kind of testing like a little bit of a demand line here. No divergence for silver. And I don't know, I don't think it's going to be a mix of a bat and a Gartley, it looks like. Yeah, so you're going to have a mix of a bat and a Gartley. You pretty much have that right now. You got that 618 from X to B retrace, and then an X to D retrace of an 886. Also lining up around a 1618 from B to D. You kind of, I'd say this is like the area you'd want to bounce. In general, just anywhere above here, like this whole entire area, because even if you break that scuffed harmonic PCZ, you still have like all of this support from these lows and these lows. So let me actually delete this. I mean, this whole entire area is just support. It's a very large range of support. So I'm even going to redraw this. It's kind of like just back in the range it was already in, you know? So we're going to redraw that. And this is my updated view on silver, okay? I don't know, maybe you could also like draw like a supply line, have a little bit of a wedge. So you do have some stuff lining up here. We'll see if silver can make a move. And the support even dates back to over here, wow. So very strong support around 21.22 for silver. And then finally, I want to talk about XLE before we get into the overall stock market. XLE has been on a crazy run. You look at a lot of energy stocks and they are up a lot this year, unlike most other sectors of the stock market. But when you started getting up to these areas, I got pretty bearish on XLE, and you actually did fall all the way down to the support, and then you did run up at the end of next week. But you did have some classic bearish divergence. On Friday, you had a bearish engulfing candle for XLE, and you have like this scuffed head and shoulders formation appearing. Apart from that, if we go over to the 4 hour, you can see that you've kind of also printed a 4 hour bearish engulfing with a follow through over here, and then you can kind of just look at this upsloping formation on the 1 hour, and you're kind of breaking down from like this. Again, it's a little bit large for just a bear flag. We're just going to call it an upsloping channel. You're breaking down from it with 1 hour hidden bearish divergence on XLE. And then 30-minute classic bearish divergence on XLE. So one of the trades I'm going to be looking at towards the beginning of this week potentially is going to be a like short put trade on XLE. It looks like, you know, it had a really good run. It got overbought. It got classic bearish divergence on the daily. Then it kind of started falling. Now it just had like a reflex rally, but only to break support or your demand line, and now it's selling off again. So if we go back over to the 1 hour chart, if we start showing some bearish variables on lower time frames tomorrow morning, I will be looking to maybe get some puts and maybe like target this level, or maybe even this level, or maybe even this level. Okay. Now where did I get these levels from? This first level over here, you can see we have some lows right over here. This second level, I don't know why it's exactly here. That might be dating back into like the past. And then this third level from these highs and this low. So those are like the downside levels I'll be watching. The way that this gets invalidated, I'd say, is if it does this. 1 second. We draw this supply line on the 30-minute over here. So if it breaks above this or breaks out of this on the 30-minute, that's how I'd probably think that this overall idea, at least short term, could be invalidated. So that's one of the ideas I have going into the beginning of the week. I'm also, another idea that I'll be watching tomorrow morning is this on SPY. 411 is pretty much your lows. This was when Russia invaded Ukraine. It was that exact day we gapped down a lot. And then we had, I don't know if this was like the craziest one-day rally, but like we went up 4% from the open to the close that same day, for those of you that remember. But what I will be watching tomorrow is if we do break under those lows, I will be looking for a potential put trade, I think down to like, let me see. I should have it charted. Yeah, so if we break like 410.7, there's not much until like 405, 406 from these lows over here. So if we do end up breaking this 411, 410 level, I might be looking for a put trade on the overall market tomorrow. But also we could bounce off this level, vice versa. If we start bouncing right off those same lows, maybe I might play some calls. So you're just at a make or break area for the SPY in general. Now the SPY is kind of like, it's a little bit closer. It's a little bit closer than the other ones. And I'm going to show that a little bit more in depth in a second here. But if we take a look at the SPY, you really haven't gotten your 52-week lows yet. You're still above your February lows. But all the other indices pretty much that I look at, they've broken them, right? The QQQ has broken down already with candle close confirmation. It took out these lows over here, okay? You closed at 52-week lows on the QQQ. Same thing for the Russell 2000. It gave up both of these lows from February. It closed at its 52-week low. Same thing for the NASDAQ. It gave up all of these different supports over here. So that doesn't look great. Even if you go over to like weekly time frames, like you're just kind of starting to roll over and you've broken like these major levels that you would have wanted to held, whichever way you say it. But you can clearly see that on the weekly, on that final candle close on Friday, in that final couple of hours, we really just gave up some major support. So that's really where the market is right now. I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth. We're gonna go to lower time frames in a second here. Happy birthday. My birthday is, well, it's the 6th. I don't know if that's Thursday or Friday. But it's my birthday week. Yeah, it's Friday. I keep thinking it's Thursday for some reason. So yeah, Friday is my birthday. I'm not going to be a teenager anymore. So I'm going to be 20 years old this Friday, which is crazy. And I think also Canelo fights on Saturday, 7th. Yeah, he fights on the 7th. All right. So yeah, going a little bit more in depth into the market, we can go down to some lower time frames. We did have like this bat that appeared on the SPY on the 4 hour. If you've been in Discord on Twitter, I did talk about this. Hey, okay, it gave a 3% bounce. I mean, you know, it's kind of over now, but it gave a 3% bounce. That was something. And then let's not do that. Let's go over to the 1 hour. Then we had this, and I shared this in the Discord on Friday, and I said this was like the 1 hour bear case. It might have been AK in the Discord. I don't remember for sure, but basically did this, but you know, with like a larger, with more context, it's like an inverse cup and handle. And then also, I'm sure, you know, we were talking about this like a while ago when we were like testing like over here, but I'm sure many of you remember that head and shoulders idea. Now we're seeing it all over like Twitter. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about it. But we were talking about the head and shoulders idea, like the bearish idea for the SPY over here. We just never confirmed the breakdown. But now, I mean, it's like a head and double shoulder, you know, or you could just like, I don't know, maybe ignore this one. It's kind of like the same thing. Like, I mean, regardless of any head, shoulders, or inverted cup and handles, you're just at the make or break area, right? This is very clearly, if we just delete every single thing on the chart and we just draw this one zone right over here, this is clearly where you have held. This is the level that the bulls have been able to defend since pretty much exactly a year ago. If you break under these, you kind of went straight up, okay? You kind of went straight up for a long time. You know, this is your level you want to defend. On the QQQ, NASDAQ, Russell, it kind of looks like you're already giving them up. SPY looks like it might be holding it for right now, but we will see. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at the market going into the week. Like, most of the other indices look like they've already broken down. The SPY looks like it has like one last chance. But if it can't hold it, then, you know, you got this gap fill at 400. We have that 405 level I was talking about on the 1 hour from these lows in May of 2021. So those are the variables for like the overall market on the SPY. Moving into some other indices, the QQQ, it gave up these lows from over here and even over here. Next support, I'd say on the daily is around 303 for QQQ. All right. The only, like, it would be crazy. Like, it's like the if scenario is somehow the SPY like just holds these areas, and then maybe you just spring back above your breakdowns. But like until we do that, like if that happens, then I'll change my opinion. But until we do that, you have to look at this as a bearish breakdown. Unless if you do spring above it, which I can't predict, if it happens, I'll say that okay, the breakdown's maybe not playing out. But as it is right now, you are kind of breaking down, and it will also be interesting to see that, you know, like we've had a lot of these variables that I've talked about in the past like year or two really help the market multiple times. I'm going to talk about them in a second. It's going to be interesting to see if these same variables will play out again or not. Now, what variables am I talking about? A lot of you, I'm sure, remember the high volume and the lower Bollinger Bands, right? It has acted as a signal for the bottom almost every single time we've gotten them, okay? The volume spikes and the lower Bollinger Bands. You have that signal right now, you do. But the context is very, very different. You're also testing your major breakdowns in 52-week lows with multiple like major economic concerns and the potential that we're already in a recession. I think we need one more, negative GDP quarter or something to like confirm that. But last GDP numbers were not good. So it's going to be interesting to see. Will the same variables, despite all the ongoing concerns, still play out? Or is this going to be the time where they don't play out? Because remember, no set of variables or indicators will ever play out 100% of the time. Otherwise, there'd be a money glitch to like life. So it's just not going to happen all the time. It has happened the majority of the time, but it's just going to be interesting to see that. I don't know if there's anything on the lower time frames on the Qs. Maybe like an alternate bat. We'll see. I'll keep it charted. We'll see. You no longer have any potential for hidden bullish divergence. And I'm sure you're going to be getting oversold. You're pretty much close to oversold like the 1 hour charts. And then moving on to the Russell, this broke down as well. The Russell had this range it was in, right? We can just look at it like this. This was like this range it was in, and it's testing a breakdown. I mean, somehow, some way, maybe it holds its lows from the 28th, but who knows? You know, you definitely broke these lows. So same thing for the Russell, like I said on the QQQ. As of right now, you have to look at it as a bearish breakdown. If it springs back above, it springs back above, but it's just not doing that for right now. And then I have this larger broadening wedge formation. We were looking at it like a wedge before. It kind of played out a little bit, but not much. The NASDAQ, another one breaking down. You took out these lows, you took out these lows. Next level I see here, it actually might be charted on my 4 hour, I think it is, but around 12,071. Yeah, I have it at 93 over here. But from these highs in like September and October of 2020, I think that was around like election time, a little bit before election time. So same thing here, you can clearly see the zone of support that it has closed under. You have a bearish breakdown. If that reverses, it reverses, but for now, that's what you have. So that's the overall market. You have the ARKK ETF as well. It's kind of like the same thing. We'll see what happens. But yeah, you know, there's going to be opportunity here and there. It's tough because you are seeing these breakdowns being tested. They're not necessarily confirmed with like back tests or anything. And you do have those volume signals with the lower Bollinger Bands, but it just feels like we're in a very different time, right? It just, if you're in the market, you can tell like this does not feel like all of the other pullbacks and corrections. There's something different about it, which could be also good. And also at the same time, like short term, you know, it feels like fear. And if you look at I haven't looked at the fear and greed index, we can take a look at that. And I also pulled up something in the beginning of the stream I want to show you all. There's obviously a lot of fear in the market. So you're very close to extreme fear on the CNN fear and greed index. And then also on Friday, you had 25% calls to puts, okay? 3/4 of the option traders were in puts. So, and this is for the SPY, by the way. But you're just getting a very, very fearful market. And we'll see what happens. But fear creates opportunity. You know, maybe not short term, but long term, we are getting generational wealth opportunities on many, many different assets. You know, there's so many assets that are down 70, 80, 90% from their highs a couple years ago. That creates opportunity. Doesn't mean all of them are going to go back up, but that creates opportunity. The only question is, how do you time that? And we'll see. Okay. You know, I don't want to try and go over everything in one day. I want to just keep it a little bit simple, but a pullback is welcomed. I mean, we've already been pulling back and crashing and correcting, whatever you want to call it, but like further downside is welcomed. If it happens, it happens. I feel like a lot of people are scared and they think that if that happens, there's nothing they can do about it, then they're just going to keep losing money. There's always something you can do about it. As long as the market is moving, you can profit, okay? So, you know, my plan currently is the same thing. I'm just going to keep day trading for the most part. When I see potential swing opportunities, I'll do it with smaller position sizes, but it's just really hard. The level of volatility is very, very crazy. Also, we're in a period of much higher IFE and a lot of options. So it just makes it a little bit harder to get like the same types of moves that we saw a couple years ago, at least definitely to the upside. It's been harder for months now, but that's just where we're at. So that's the overall market. Let me talk about some individual names now. Just Apple. This is testing a key level going into the week. You know, you have the potential for hidden bullish divergence if you start curling here, but you're testing a very key support area and the 200-day moving average. So keep an eye on this. This is obviously one of the names in the market that can move the market. I don't know the best way to draw this demand line. Maybe like this. Yeah. So you also got like this demand line, this trend line. Even something like Tesla, which is another name that could move the market, is testing a trend line on its weekly chart. So these large caps, you know, and I said this months ago, we already had the small caps and especially the mid cap growth stocks completely crash. They already experienced a stock market crash, but I did say, you know, that I thought that the large caps were going to be the final ones to go because they were still near their 52-week, 2-year, 3-year all-time highs, you know, since that COVID crash. And now we're starting to finally see the big names, the large caps on, you know, after their bad earnings season last week, starting to get pulled. And that's when you're going to be seeing the S&P and the QQQ pulling back. Because we talked about this for so long. Remember how like the narrative for, not narrative, but the truth of like all of last year was, okay, the S&P and the NASDAQ were continuing to make all-time highs, but these growth stocks were making all-time lows. These small caps were making all-time lows. There was a very big part of the market that was crashing while the other 10 to 15 names holding up the S&P and QQQ were bringing them to all-time highs. And now that you're seeing those names fall over, now it looks like the market's only crashing now, but you've been in this scenario for a while, unless you only are in large caps. But now those names are pulling, so we'll see what happens. And it is interesting because like you see the S&P and the QQQ really starting to fall now, but you also do see a few names showing like relative strength, right? The S&P was down 4% on Friday. Something like, let's say, CLOV wasn't even down 1%. I'm pretty sure CLOV was green most of Friday actually, which is interesting, right? Because we've seen times where the S&P was down a couple percent, CLOV was down like a lot, like 10 to 15%. So you're starting to see names, they're already beaten down like so much that yes, you know, they technically still could go lower, but they're just in a different area. So there is still this separation in the market. But yeah, speaking about CLOV, it is one of the swings. We can talk about it and get into the swings, which have heavily underperformed. Last week, none of the swings were profitable on the sheet. I think that was like the 5th time in like 77 weeks I've been putting out swings where that's happened. But yeah, CLOV, in terms of the swing, it's hanging on by a thread. You do have this hidden bullish divergence. You did get that bullish pin bar on Thursday. On the 4-hour, you still have that hidden bullish divergence. Confirmed actually. You're still in this wedge, okay? You're still in this wedge. And I've been talking about this wedge since like over here. You're still in it. You tested a breakout, you couldn't break out like over here. You're still in the wedge. There's not a lot of room left to go. There's no certainty it'll break to the upside, but you're still in it. On the 1-hour, if you draw it a little bit differently, you could have already broken out and you're back testing it. This is all happening around the golden retrace from your all-time lows to your March highs. So it's at a very key level. We'll see if it can somehow stay alive with the market doing what it's doing, but if it can, keep an eye on that. And then earnings for CLOV must be coming up soon. According to TradingView, they're on the 9th, which is not this week, but the week after. And then Fisker is testing a very, very key level, okay? Take a look at this. You're testing this like demand line area. Fisker has really never spent more than like a week or two under these levels. If you go over to the weekly, you can see the same thing. It's back in the same area, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you've been at this level. 100% of the time, Fisker in its whole entire history, has it been around these levels, it's been the bottom 100% of the time. However, that doesn't mean it will happen 100% of the time forever. There is a chance that it breaks this zone for the first time ever, and that would be very scary if it did, right? That would be very scary because you don't have support under that. Now, scary for some people, I don't even want to say this, but like for me, I wouldn't be that scared. Like from a technical standpoint, it's scary, but for me, like again, like just like I was saying this about the market, I'll say the same thing about Fisker. You give me under $8, what do you guys think I'm gonna be doing? You think I'm just gonna sit there and look at Fisker under $8? I'm not just gonna sit there and look at it, okay? There's a good chance I'll be buying Fisker if it's under those levels. Now, short term, that could be risky because there's no technical edge there, but we're just talking about fundamentals. And again, some of you might have a completely different opinion as me. Some of you might think that Fisker is going to fail. And again, I welcome those opinions. I'm not one of those streamers that's like, if you disagree with me, you're wrong. I'm smarter than you. There's probably a lot of you that are smarter than me. I'm not a genius. I just believe in what I believe in. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But like, this is like from a technical standpoint, at least, we're not talking about fundamentals. From a technical standpoint, like you're at the point where you want to hold it, okay? This is like so many different variables. You even got like this 4-hour bullish shark on Fisker. This is like the whole entire chart could be looked as like a symmetrical triangle. You're at the demand line. You're at your make area from the make or break area, all right? You want to make it here. You're still in that 1-hour wedge. You're testing your lows pretty much of the year. I mean, there's a chance somewhat at like quadruple, quintuple, classic bullish divergence. This is your level. Fisker, this is the level, okay? Will it hold? I don't know. We've seen a lot of stocks break very key levels in the past few months. Hopefully this is not one of them, but anything is possible. And you know I'm not going to just lie about it because I love Fisker. It is possible that it breaks this level and sees all-time lows. I just hope it doesn't because it's never done that before, but we'll see. So that's where you're currently at on Fisker. Moving on to some of the newer swings. Upstart, this is pretty much around the entry areas. Classic bullish divergence on the daily. The whole entire like chart from like over here is this large bullish shark. You're in a falling wedge. I would really like to see this get back above like this support level around $81. It was actually green in Friday on the morning. Like again, the S&P was down. This was green, but then the S&P really fell down towards the end of the day on Friday, and that took a lot of the names that were green back to red. But like this was, I mean, the swing was up. I think I did this on like Thursday or Wednesday, and it was up like 9% on Friday morning. So you can really see like the S&P, the market in general, it's just really screwing over a lot of opportunities, at least in the short term. DraftKings is another newer swing I alerted. This huge wedge pattern, classic bullish divergence, this $13 support dates back to March of 2020, the COVID crash. So again, remember, I'm alerting these swings at these levels. You know, a lot of other people were thinking that the bull market was going to last forever up here. It doesn't last forever, but also a bear market does not last forever. And I actually tweeted something along those lines recently where it's like everybody was, you know, calling you stupid if you were bearish over here because all the market did at the time was go straight up. All stocks did was go up. And now if you're bullish down over here, you're an idiot because now all the market does is go down. All these stocks do is go down until they don't, right? So short-term fear can create life-changing generational wealth opportunities in the long term, but you have to be smart about how you approach them, of course. Trip, another one, potential inverse head and shoulders, bullish bat. This one's down 5-6% since the entry. Just hopefully you can hold this right shoulder around 24. The PENN swing is hanging on by a thread. It's just trying to hold these lows. It's been holding them for like all of April. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow is also the first trading day of May. And you know, the context of this is like a multi-year level support and a bullish shark. It's at its level, and that's really it for the swings. What else? So those were the swings. What else is on my watch list? Dogecoin I've been keeping an eye on. Take a look at the weekly on Dogecoin. Broke out of this wedge, hidden bullish divergence at 13 cents. Anything else I want to like talk about? GameStop and AMC are showing like these 1-hour wedges, very similar to CLOV and Fisker. That's AMC. This is GameStop. Seek for Bleak has been taking a close look at these over the last couple of weeks. And I think Wish has earnings this week. This tested a breakout on the 1-hour and maybe back testing going into the week. 162 is a key level for Wish this week. I don't know, what else is there to really talk about? Tesla, we talked about on the weekly. On the 1-hour, it got close to hitting a BAT PCZ, ran all the way up over here. I actually, in the simulator ETF, I actually added Tesla like over here, like right over there, and had a nice quick like 1-day move, but now it's selling off a bit again. But I actually will be adding Tesla into the simulator ETF for my personal fund. If it doesn't fall back to this zone, I'm not going to be buying more. If it does fall back to this zone, I'll probably buy some more Tesla for my personal fund. This was one of the tickers I sent in the bearish watch list to premium members today. Spotify broke down to a new all-time low and it had its lowest weekly close ever last week. No support under these levels if it can confirm this breakdown. Bullish, one of the tickers I sent in the bullish watch list to premium members was FCEL. This is a bullish back going into the week. It had a bullish pin bar on Thursday. It's got some hidden bullish divergence. But it's an energy name, and remember what I talked about actually in the beginning of the stream. We'll see. But yeah, that was just one of the bullish and one of the bearish names I shared in the watch list. I shared 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential bullish tickers and 4 potential bearish tickers in the 10 ticker watch list sent to premium members yesterday. Those were 2 of them. So yeah, that's, you know, my thoughts on the market right now. It's absolutely crazy. It's a little bit harder to like stream about it because like it's a lot easier to stream when it's like a swing environment because then things can take time. The majority of the action I've been involved with in charting and trading and executing and alerting is day trades and stuff like that. So you know, I don't want to like recap last week's day trades. It's kind of pointless right now, but I probably for the next few weeks I probably will be spending a large part of the streams just talking about like day trade action and stuff like that. So yeah. So let's do some taker requests for a little bit. If you want me to look at any charts, drop it in the chat. I'm just gonna pick and choose. I'm not gonna look at all of them. I don't even know if there's gonna be that many. But I'm just gonna pick and choose some names in the chat. But yeah, if you want me to look at something, let me know. Also, what do you all think about the thumbnail? Should I start doing thumbnails like these? All right, NVDA, however you pronounce it. And there's a downsloping wedge. A little bit of support around 178 if that breaks, then 162, resistance at 207. Got some 4-hour classic bullish divergence. That's really it. SMH. I know Mehdi, this was I think his first buy for the simulator ETF. I look at it like this. You have this wedge over here. Support around 224-ish. Resistance around 249, 250-ish. Palantir, it's retesting its lows from March. If that breaks, then you have your lows at February. I don't think this is a harmonic. It's not going to be like anything textbook, but we can see kind of a mix, not even a mix of a bad and Garley. It's gotten too deep, but yeah, just testing. 1 second. This little like zone. Good thumbnail, cool. What I think I want to start doing is like, I don't know, if a lot of you that like see the thumbnails, you probably notice like most of my thumbnails is like the same like 3 or 4 faces. I want to start just like taking like a different selfie just like every day. So I don't know, I feel like it just gets oversaturated when I use like the same like 3 or 4 like faces. And let's see if we can find some. Like this is one of the common ones I use. The suit one is like the most common one. I want to just like literally I just took this picture like right over there just standing in front of the light. So I want to start just doing that. And just making them like less crowded, but I don't know. BBIG, we'll take a look at that. Charge point. I know I was looking at PLTR earlier. I want to see if this looks similar. It doesn't really have like, actually it might have like that harmonic look. Let's go over to the 4-hour and look at this like this. I don't know. Could be a shark. It's pretty much a bullish shark, yeah. So you got this bullish shark on charge point. You could also draw like a little bit of a supply line here. And then a demand line here. Pretty nice looking 4-hour setup. Hopefully can just hold this $12.50 to $13 level. Otherwise $11.50 is the next support I see. BBIG. This looks really interesting. Wow, okay. Yet another time bouncing off this same exact support level. It's filled a gap and it's breaking a supply line. This is one I'm going to keep on my watch list going into the week. Who requested this? Truffle Chocolate. Great YouTube name and great request. BBIG looking very, very interesting. It's been getting a lot of social media chatter. I have seen that. And even that MACD is curling, the RSI is curling. Interesting. I mean, on top of that, you might also have a shark as well. So you certainly have a lot going on over here on BBIG. I'd say probably just like these lows, this 218 level is what you'd want to hold. In terms of like resist a move for it. Am I still live? Is it just trading view?
You know, the present is represented on your watch by a hairline.
Okay, cut out for a second. I think we're good. So, resistance. Yeah, let me go back over to the 4-hour actually. 325-ish, you got a little bit. Let me just draw out all the levels I see. All right, so those are your levels for BBIG on the 4-hour, okay? All right. Cool, so nice little just stream to get going for the week. Hopefully this is a good update because I know I haven't been live in a while. Again, this is not like the full return yet. This is just like a mini return for those who missed the beginning of the stream. I'll be live a few days this week here and there. It's not going to be a full week, but then starting next week we're back 9 p.m. 1.5 hour streams, timestamps, clips going out on TikTok and Instagram. It's going to be a good time. Okay, just need to get going with a few other things I'm working on outside of all of this, get all those kind of ready, and yeah, all right. So I hope you enjoyed the stream. It's nice to see all of you in the chat. Thank you all for supporting everything I do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Shout out to Zeke. You've been helping out a lot lately. And yeah, have a good Sunday. Good luck trading this week if you choose to trade this week. And we'll see. We're at a very, very unique time in the market. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Have a good night. Hit the like button. I forgot to say that. Hit the like button. All right, peace out.